Tenemos una buena noticia para todas las personas y la clase trabajadora. Número 1. Donald Trump quiere eliminar impuestos a las propinas. Eliminar impuestos a horas extras. No tax on overtime. Quiere implementar tarifas a cualquier empresa que se vaya de los Estados Unidos y no le dé oportunidad de empleo a los americanos. Y va a dar incentivos a empresas extranjeras que se muevan a la nación estadounidense y le den empleo a los estadounidenses. Y ahora tenemos esta información. Donald Trump coquetea con el recorte fiscal definitivo, ningún impuesto sobre la renta. Interesante. El expresidente ha elogiado repetidamente un periodo en la historia de Estados Unidos en el que no había impuestos sobre la renta y el país dependía de los aranceles para financiar el gobierno. ¿Ok? Durante un segmento de Fox News el lunes, Donald Trump respondió preguntas en una barbería en el Bronx, cuando se le preguntó si Estados Unidos podría potencialmente poner fin por completo a todos los impuestos federales. Donald Trump dijo que el país podría volver a las políticas económicas de finales del siglo XIX, cuando no había un impuesto federal sobre la renta. Cito, tenía todos los aranceles, no tenía impuestos sobre la renta. Ahora tenemos impuestos sobre la renta y la gente que está muriendo, están pagando impuestos como loco y no tienen dinero para poder pagarlos. Y además, ese dinero que pagas en exorbitantes comisiones y fees, taxes, podrías utilizarlo para poder comprar un vehículo, para comprar más comida, para poder comenzar a guardar dinero para un down payment en comenzar un mortgage. En junio, Donald Trump planteó la idea de reemplazar los ingresos federales provenientes de impuestos sobre la renta con dinero recibido de los aranceles. Donald Trump todavía no ha proporcionado detalles específicos sobre cómo funcionaría eso, pero sería como un plan piloto.
With all this extra revenue we're going to be bringing into the country. So do you believe at some point in time we could find a way, once the country's back on its feet and getting enough revenue and paid off our debt, do you think it's possible to find a way to eliminate federal taxes?
There is a way.
And how do you feel about it?
You know, in the old days, when we were a smart country, in the 1890s and all, this is when the country was relatively the richest it ever was. It had all tariffs. It didn't have an income tax.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Now we have income taxes, and we have people that are dying. They're paying tax, and they don't have the money to pay the tax. No, in the old days, 1890, 1880, we had so much money, they had to set up committees, blue ribbon committees, how to spend our wealth. We had no idea how to spend it with so much money. Then we went to the income tax system, and the rest is sort of history. But no, there is a way. I mean, if what I'm planning comes out, it's a great question, by the way.
Everyone could attain the
You're a pretty
American
sophisticated cat, you know.
Everyone could attain the American dream if it wasn't for the high cost, that the burden of high taxes, and we're taxed at every step of the way.
Yeah.
When we make it, when we spend
regulations.
it.
And regulations.
Absolutely.
So I cut more regulations in 4 years than any other president by 4 times. Yeah, let's go. You would ask one question.
¿Por qué Estados Unidos tiene impuestos sobre la renta? Estados Unidos implementó impuestos sobre la renta para lograr dos objetivos principales: aumentar los impuestos a los ricos y pagar por un gobierno federal más grande. El país tuvo brevemente un impuesto sobre la renta durante la Guerra Civil, pero no fue hasta el periodo histórico favorito de Trump, finales del siglo XIX, que la idea volvió a ganar terreno. Los aranceles financiaron en gran medida al gobierno federal, pero los demócratas de esa época querían recaudar más dinero de los ricos cobrando un impuesto sobre la renta. A finales del siglo XIX, los demócratas, encabezados por William Jennings Bryan, atacaron los aranceles como una carga para los estadounidenses pobres. Los republicanos apoyaron los aranceles como una forma de proteger la industria estadounidense de la competencia extranjera. Ok, Donald Trump por ahora no ha propuesto formalmente poner fin al sistema de impuestos sobre la renta de Estados Unidos, en cuanto ha ofrecido recortes de impuestos tras recortes de impuestos durante la campaña electoral, argumentando que podría cubrir sus costos aumentando drásticamente los aranceles a las importaciones. La deuda nacional de Estados Unidos ha aumentado 473.000 millones de dólares en las últimas 3 semanas. Actualmente asciende a 35.8 billones de dólares. Eso supone una deuda de $103.700 por cada estadounidense. Esto es insostenible. Resulta que hubo, de manera inesperada, un alza en la deuda nacional bajo la administración de Kamala Harris o bajo la administración Biden-Harris. Miren ese margen, señores, que de la noche a la mañana aumentó estrepitosamente. Increíble. Miren esto, existe una posibilidad real de que Trump consiga su plan ballena blanca, ganar el voto popular. Las encuestas muestran que la carrera a nivel nacional están básicamente están pareja, ya que Trump está muy por delante de donde obtuvo las encuestas en 2016 o en el 2020. Sería el primer republicano en ganar el voto popular en 20 años y solo el segundo en 36 años. Entonces, este experto en la materia de las encuestas de la CNN dice que Donald Trump podría ganarse el voto popular por mucho, básicamente. Pero antes de mostrarles este clip, yo te invito a que te suscribas a este canal para que estés al tanto de este tipo de contenido importante que los medios tradicionales no te van a compartir. Vamos a mostrarte a continuación este análisis que ha hecho este experto en la materia, que es bastante interesante y quiero compartírtelo contigo. Mira esto, en 3, 2, 1.
May finally get his great white whale. Harris versus Trump national margin. You mentioned that New York Times poll, a tie. That's actually right in the middle of the spectrum when we're talking about recent polling data. You don't have to look very far to find Donald Trump ahead nationally. He was up by 2 points in the CNBC poll, up by 3 in the Wall Street Journal poll. Very close races within the margin of error. But then the same thing on the other side, right? You have Harris up by 3 points according to Ipsos. The Say 24 YouGov poll, that's a bunch of academics, also has Harris up by 3. But the bottom line is, with the popular vote, which we really haven't focused upon, a very, very tight race, John. Fact is, Donald Trump is very much in a position he could win the popular vote, which of course is something he would absolutely love to do.
And would be something very different than we have seen compared to last time and the polling compared to last time.
Exactly right. So I went back through the time machine, all right? I went back through the time machine to see where were the past 2 races at this point in the campaign. Look, Harris in the average poll right now is up by 1. Well within the margin of error. You go back 4 years ago, Joe Biden was well ahead of Donald Trump in the national popular vote polls. He was up by 9. Even Hillary Clinton was up by 6 points. So now Donald Trump's in a position he really hasn't been before at this point in the campaign where he could truly compete, and we can truly say that the popular vote at this point is way too close to call. Of course, this is only going back 8 years. I wanted to jump even further back in my time machine to get an understanding. Hey, I haven't heard about a Republican potentially winning the popular vote in a while. And it turns out a Republican winning the popular vote, it hasn't happened since 2004 in George W. Bush defeating John Kerry. And that's only the one time that it has happened. In fact, you have to go all the way back to 1988 to find another one when it was George W. Bush's father, George H.W. Bush, winning the popular vote over Michael Dukakis. So the fact that the polls right now are so close, John, the fact that Donald Trump has a legitimate shot of winning the popular vote is something I think a lot of folks, including in my line of work, really didn't think could possibly happen when Donald Trump was running last time around. He could make history, not just for Donald Trump, for a Republican candidate as well.
Now, there are some reasons for this, and I think Democrats' heads are all exploding out there watching this right now. There are some reasons for this, which you're going to explain, but also begin to raise the possibility that we could see the reverse. We could see the reverse of things we've seen where a Republican wins the popular vote, but there's a chance for the Democrat to win the Electoral College.
Yeah, part of my job is to warn our viewers on either side of the aisle of an event that may occur that they don't necessarily like, and Donald Trump winning the popular vote could absolutely happen. You might as well wrap your minds around it now, folks, if you don't like Donald Trump. But on the flip side of that, a potentially good sign for Democrats is why is Donald Trump doing so well in the popular vote polls? You can dig down into the state level polling and you can see that Donald Trump is doing particularly well in California, Florida, New York, and Texas. Of course, none of these states are really on the board at this point. So Donald Trump may end up gaining in the national popular vote polls, but actually is wasting votes, which could in fact lead to a case where Kamala Harris could sneak by in the Electoral College by sweeping those Great Lake battleground states, which at this point are way too close to call, John.
That's right. It'd be interesting to see then if all that talk about Electoral College reform takes on a bit of a new light.
It may. In 2000, remember, folks thought that Al Gore would win the Electoral College and lose in the popular vote. It turns out they were all wrong.
All right, there you have it. Kate?